Namaste, everyone. Welcome to the Cārvāka podcast. This is your host kushalmehra. All right, so let's start today's monologue by first of all thanking the members Kaustubh Khadilkar, Shubhankar Patki, Krishna Karthik, Devbrat, Ajinkya Dhruva. So first of all, I had the last time when I did the monologue, I was talking to you guys about that whole YouTube membership thingy. Well, apparently the process is not that bad. I myself did it for a couple of portals myself, so the process doesn't seem to be all that complicated. You get a message that you need to do the verification, and this is how the verification is. You click the verification link, you go there, and then I guess if you have an Indian credit card, I think it's going to be for Indian credit cards or Indian things. I think credit cards which are outside India, I don't think they might have to do it. So if you're a supporter outside India, I don't think so you have to worry about it. um, so I guess it's going to be for Indians, and then it basically takes you to a page where you get a OTP, you add the OTP, and you're done. Honestly, to do this on a monthly basis, in my opinion, is not a big deal. And I think eventually it's going to happen on every portal. So it doesn't matter if I go on Razorpay, if I go on Patreon, if I go on this. So every portal is going to have the same thing. I thought that it's going to be some big disaster looking at other or here listening to other YouTube creators. But I honestly, when I did it myself, I really did not think it was that big a deal. So there's my bit. But anyways, as always, I'm just going to make this announcement again, and I'm going to be making this now for the next few days. So as you guys know, because of the changes with the whole policy, I just wanted to make my life easier. So now the benefits are going to be uniform, whether you're on Patreon or you're on the Valmiki Ramayana YouTube membership thing. So if you're a Seekers tier member on uh, this thing, YouTube, you also get access to all the videos of AIT, AMT, OMT from now, not the past ones, from now, because there are others who are pledging it on Patreon for a longer time. As far as the Speak With Me tier members are concerned, they and anybody in Patreon above 5 USD get the same benefits now. So the Patreon folks who are pledging 5 USD and above, you guys get the AMA too now. Tomorrow is going to be the AMA. So I'm just letting you know, tomorrow is the last day of the month. I'm going to be hosting the AMA tomorrow, most probably at around 7:30 p.m. I'll start the AMA. So I'll post the Zoom link in the Telegram group for the patrons and the members community page on YouTube, so you guys can join and we'll have our chat as always. So you know the deal. You can become a member on YouTube, you can subscribe on Patreon, you can buy the Cārvāka podcast merch on kushalmehra.com/shop, kadakmerch.com. There you go and select the creators page, or you can send your donations to UPI kushalmehra at ICICI, or you can you can just like the channel, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave your comments, share the videos, and do your bit. So all of that is welcome. As far as the monologue is concerned, well, the rules are very simple. As always, today I'm going to try to, I think I don't even need 30 minutes, hopefully today. So as always, I'll speak for around 30 minutes, then scan through the comments. Super chats and UPI questions will be given first preference. If there aren't any, I'll scan through the live stream. If there is anything interesting, I'll answer. Otherwise, I'll wrap the session up. So here's the thing. Let's talk about the subject today. So today's subject, I've titled it "The Kids Aren't All Right." Now you must be wondering, why am I saying the kids aren't all right? So let me give you guys a brief background. Since the first wave of the COVID pandemic has hit us since last year March, as you guys know, schools or colleges have been, I mean, I don't even know if they're on or off. I mean, sometimes on, sometimes off. Most of the times it has shifted to online learning and stuff like that. And I've been observing this. I'm sure all of you must have been observing this. So say if you're in the age group of 25 and above, or 30 and above, and 35 and above, and you have your own children, you must have experienced this at your own end with your children, either having e-education where they're just stuck at a screen all day long, or if you don't have that access and you're maybe in rural India and you access this channel and your children are exposed basically to no e-education, and you're just stuck with kids barely going to school. So a lot of things are happening. Or if you're a young kid who's going to college and you're a subscriber of this channel, you must be going through this as an individual. I know at least 20 to 30% of this channel subscriber base is between the age group of 18 to 25, but today's focus is more on young kids. So I was trying to read up on this as much as possible over the last few months. I was actually I had scheduled to talk about this 4 months ago. I never got to speaking about it. In hindsight, it's a good thing. More and more data has come out. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by sharing my views on what has been the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on young school-going children. This is public domain knowledge. All I'm doing in this monologue is literally picking up all the knowledge in the public domain, collating it together, and reading it out to you. So, first of all, I have not done something great, something amazing. I have literally, I'm sure many people have read these essays or papers or short articles themselves. But my aim is I want to collect them all, present the data together, and then make a larger argument. That's my point. And this is going to be the argument is going to be in two halves. The first half is going to state what is happening because of shutting schools down or shifting them to online education, whatever, in terms of nutrition, in terms of learning abilities and learning losses, those factors. And then I'll get into the phase where I'll make the argument that I think kids should go back to school now. But not only just them, even colleges. They should just, all of them, all in sundry, should go back now. And then I will look into the data, the most controversial one, about the deaths, literally, of kids under the age of 11, 12, or whatever, 0 to 17. So we will analyze that, right? My aim um, is not to convince you to my point of view. I never aim to do that. My aim in today's monologue is to expose you to some numbers. What you do with it as a young kid or as a parent is not my concern. But I feel it is my moral duty to talk about this. And I know, I know I'm mocked for this, that I'm the one who keeps raising the alarm against lockdowns, against COVID policy making. But it's okay. I'm used to it now. I don't mind being mocked for this. I believe what is happening under the garb of COVID-19 policy making is nothing short of the biggest power grab in the history that I have, at least in my lifetime. I was born after the emergency, so I really don't know anything of this sort that has happened. And under the garb of what the word to use over here is safetyism, which is a term I came across for the first time a few years ago when I heard Jonathan Haidt, and he obviously was using safetyism in the term of mental safetyism, but I think this is also an extension of that safetyism, and I don't think so it is based out on evidence. So let's start with a few parameters. So what I'm going to do is I have tried to gather data of I'll share a couple of studies. um, so let's get started. So I'm going to start by sharing two op-eds where I'm going to read some critical parts of the op-eds to you, which is why it's all, see, the reason I read them directly is not that I'm lazy. It's just that I like to do even my podcasts in like an essay format, where I think it's only fair that I cite my sources and give you citations so that you can also go and double check me. That's the reason. I don't do it for any other reason. This is the reason. So let's start with this. This was written by Anurag Behar with inputs from Deutsche Welle. And Anurag Behar is the CEO of the Azim Premji Foundation. So, okay. So I'm just going to read a few key portions from this. All right. Only the children of the privilege have had any semblance of education in these past 16 months. Uh, but when they mean children of privileges, basically kids who are going to private schools, who have the privilege of having an internet connection at home, and who can have some sort of distance education, online coaching. That's what they're meaning. Through a combination of online classes, personal tutoring, and family support, let's assume that the educational outcomes for this group have been satisfactory, though this is a flaky assumption given that inherent limitations of online education. But most kids have no education since March 2020. Most of them have forgotten a lot what they knew when schools shut, and have also been deprived of the school's midday meal scheme since then, which many would have been the day's most nutritious meal. We don't know how many of these children will not return to school, forced to work by the economic devastation of the pandemic. Now, read this part. I'm going to highlight this. Let us absorb the enormity of over 200 million children having lost 16 months and more of their learning. We cannot ignore this and move on. Not only will it be hard for them to regain what they've lost, but much subsequent learning will be impossible. How can you learn the class 6 syllabus if you never learned the class 5 syllabus and have forgotten what you learned in class 4 and 3? Now, again, look at this. Consider class 6. After schools reopen, the teacher will have to assess where each child's learning is across relevant capacities. Some children may be at level of class 4, which is when school stopped, while others would be at class 3 or even class 2 on many specific capacities. For example, on multiplication and division, or on comprehension of a page of text, the teacher will have to group the children and teach them accordingly to bring them up to a level such that the syllabus of class 6 can be started. In no class are all children exactly at the same level of learning, so one cannot expect or aim for perfection, but to reach a reasonable number on all key capacities. How can the teacher do all of this effectively? I'm going to give you my comments later on, but I'm just trying to read this. Now, this is, I'm just speechless. So where is this coming from? Is from a report. So that is also done by the Azim Premji Foundation, by the way. So let us bring that report up now for all of you. Let me just bring that report up. So this is the report by the Azim Premji University, Loss of Learning During the Pandemic. This is a February 2021 report. So let's go down. This study, undertaken in January 2021, reveals the extent and nature of the forgetting regression kind of learning loss among children in public schools across primary classes because of school closure during the COVID-19 pandemic. The study covered 16,067 children in 1,137 public schools in 44 districts across 5 states. It focused on the assessment of 4 specific abilities, each in language and mathematics, across classes 2 to 6. These 4 specific abilities for each grade were chosen because these are among the abilities for all subsequent learning across subjects. And so the loss of any one of these would have serious consequences on further learning. All right. So key findings. This is what I want to share with you guys. Absolute horror show, what I'm about to read. Key findings. Learning loss in language. 92% of children on an average have lost at least one specific language ability from the previous rule across all classes. I repeat, 92% of children. Illustratively, these specific abilities include describing a picture or their experiences orally, reading familiar words, reading with comprehension, writing simple sentences based on a picture. 92% of children in class 2, 89% in class 3, 90% in class 4, 95% in class 5, and 93% in class 6 have lost at least one specific ability from the previous year. How wonderful. Now, learning loss in mathematics. 82% of children on an average have lost at least one specific mathematical ability from the previous year across all classes. 82% children. Illustratively, these specific abilities include identifying single and two-digit numbers, performing arithmetic operations, using basic arithmetic operations for solving problems, describing 2D by 3D shapes, reading and drawing inferences from data. 67% of children in class 2, 76% in class 3, 85% in class 4, 89% in class 5, and 89% in class 6 have lost at least one specific ability from the previous year. Now, I have basically given you the key findings of the survey study done. Look, you can go online. This report is publicly available, so it is not rocket science here. What I'm trying to say. Now, here's the thing. Just think about this. If this is the extent to which we're having learning loss amongst children in our, look, most of these must be rural schools or municipal schools. Now here's the thing, I don't need to tell you how many kids in this country go to private schools vis-a-vis public schools, whether it's in villages or in the cities. So what we are doing right now under the garb of COVID-19 pandemic safetyism is nothing short of crazy. But you might say ये इंडिया में हो रहा है, बाहर कहाँ हो रहा है? Just wait. Just see what happens. Even so, you remember how I read that first line that even online schooling tends to have a problem. Now I'm going to share you a study. This is learning loss due to school closures during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is by pairing Zell, Arun Frey, and Mark D. Verhagen. So first, I'll read the significance and the abstract. School closures have been a common tool in the battle against COVID-19, yet their costs and benefits remain insufficiently known. We use a natural experiment that occurred as national examinations in the Netherlands took place before and after lockdown to evaluate the impact of school closures on students' learning. The Netherlands is interesting as a best case scenario with a short lockdown, equitable school funding, and world-leading rates of broadband access. Despite favorable conditions, we find that students made little or no progress while learning from home. Learning loss was more pronounced among students from disadvantaged homes. This is in the so-called developed world or first world, whatever you want to call it. Now let's read the abstract. I'm not going to read the whole study. Again, you guys can go and source the study. It's publicly available and you can read it. Suspension of face-to-face instruction in schools during the COVID-19 pandemic has led to concerns about consequences for students' learning. So far, data to study this equation have been limited. Here we evaluate the effect of school closures on primary school performance using exceptionally rich data from the Netherlands. We use the fact that national examinations took place before and after lockdown and compare progress during this period on the same period in the three previous years. Netherlands underwent only a relatively short lockdown of 8 weeks and features an equitable system of school funding and the world's highest rate of broadband access. Still, our results reveal an learning loss of about 3 percentile points or 0.08 standard deviations. The effect is equivalent to 1/5 of a school year, the same period that schools remain closed. Losses are up to 60% larger among students from less educated homes, confirming worries about the uneven toll of the pandemic on children and families. Investigating mechanisms, we find that the most of the effect reflects the cumulative impact of knowledge learned rather than transitory influences of the day of testing. Results remain robust when balancing on the estimated propensity of treatment and using maximum entropy weights or with fixed effect specifications that compare students with the same school and family. The findings imply that students made little or no progress while learning from school and suggest losses even larger in countries with weaker infrastructure or longer school closures. Now, this is from the Netherlands. Now, here's the point. The last bit we know from our own study in India. So my point is, even if you're from the privileged classes in India and your kids have the privilege of online schooling or online education, it's not good. So, the data from Netherlands, the study from Netherlands is crystal clear. This is a very worrying sign that, and what seems absurd to me is that Why am I the only one who's concerned about this? It's as if, I don't know. I mean, am I the weird one? So I came across another article that I want to read, right? I'll just share that with you too. So this is from the Sci Post. This was written on 10th August 2021. High school students who attended school remotely during the pandemic report worse social, emotional, and academic well-being. A recent study published in the Educational Researcher sheds light on how our students were impacted by transition to remote schooling during the COVID-19 crisis. A survey of high school students revealed that those who attended remotely during the pandemic fared worse emotionally, academically, and socially than those who attended in person. One of the most notable consequences of the COVID 19 pandemic has been the widespread school closures that send millions of students home from the classroom and into remote learning. Researchers have suggested that this abrupt move to online schooling will be followed by widespread declines in academic performance, especially among students from lower income families. Study authors Angela L. Duckworth and her team wanted to investigate how remote schooling may have impacted students beyond their test scores, specifically from the students' perspectives. Using a self report questionnaire, they examined how the switch to learning at home affected students' emotions, social experiences, and academic engagement. Now, here are some of the Duckworth and colleagues analyzed data from over 6,500 high school students in grades 9 to 12 who completed surveys in February 2020 pre-pandemic and again in October 2020 mid-pandemic. During the fall session, students were given the option to either attend school in person or remotely. At the time of the second survey, 2,374 students were attending school in person and 4,202 students were following their lessons at home. The surveys questioned students about their school experiences along three domains of well-being, social, emotional, and academic. With this data, the researchers were able to compare well-being scores among students who attended school online and those who attended in person while taking students' pre-pandemic well-being scores into account. They also controlled for multiple covariates such as gender, socioeconomic status, grade point average, and school. No matter how the researchers looked at it, whether socially, academically, or emotionally, the students who attended school remotely fared worse compared to those who attended school in person. Students studying from home felt less like they were fit with peers and perceived less support from adults in the school where emotions were concerned. They experienced more negative emotions, that is sad, and less positive emotions, that is happy, relaxed. Their academic well being also suffered. Those learning remotely found their classes less interesting and felt less able to succeed in school. Notably, the researchers found that these differences in well-being were concentrated among older students in grades 10 to 12. Among ninth graders, those learning from home had comparable well-being scores to those at school. The study authors theorized that older students may have been more affected by the social isolation of remote schooling since maintaining those close relationship with peers becomes more important in the later adolescence. They also note that the ninth graders are likely already facing social, emotional, and academic adjustments due to entering high school for the first time, and these difficulties may have masked any hardships associated with remote learning. So, again, I'll just read this quote. As policymakers gear up for national tutoring and remediation programs, which we agree are urgent priorities, we must recognize that our nation's students are not just lagging as performers, they are suffering as people, Duckworth said. Meeting their intrinsic psychological needs for social connection, for positive emotion, and an authentic intellectual engagement is a challenge that cannot wait. So, as you see, I've tried to cover all possible angles. Academic performances in India, in you know public schools. Then I try to go and show you what happens to academic performance even in online schooling through Netherlands and the United States of America. Also, I try to show you the social and the emotional problems that result from this. Now, I'll make a few comments and then I want to talk about the latter half about the threat of COVID 19. Now, here's the thing, we are destroying our children. Just make no bones about it. We are ruining the lives of our children by either forcing them to do this, whatever ridiculous online schooling is, or in the cases of many children, we're just freaking passing them to the next class without any prerequisite skills. We're just, I don't know how to say it. We are creating an army of dummies. I'm sorry to put this across. We are destroying people, we are ruining their life, and we are making all the worst possible investments we could have made in literally the most important asset that our nation has, that is our children, and because that is directly connected to the future of our country. Today, what we invest in our children is going to reap its benefits 10 years, 15 years down the line. It is absolutely psychotic what we are doing. The data is out there. We are ruining our children socially, emotionally, academically. We are destroying their careers. We are playing with their lives. Yes, by not sending them to school, we are creating an army of depressed children, and nobody wants to talk about it. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only moron who talks about it. At least on Twitter, I see nobody talking about it. At least in my entire timeline of people who I follow, it's as if they don't care. I'm the only one who shouts against this. I'm the only one who whines against this. I'm the only one who cries about it. I don't know why it is there. I don't know why I am supposed to be the only one shouting about this. All I listen every time I raise this issue is, oh, but what if the kids die? Oh, but what if this happens? What if this happens? So let's see the relationship between COVID-19 and children's deaths. So let us look at the data. So unfortunately, I only have access to 2 sets of data because in India, it's very, data sharing is not very open. But let's start first by the CDC. This is the entire data for 0 to 17. And these are your entire deaths. All deaths involving COVID-19, basically both, all sexes, 464. Deaths involving pneumonia are 966. COVID and pneumonia are 110. And influenza deaths are 188. This is your breakup since the pandemic has started. I think there are 73 million children in the United States of America. 73 million children. Now, in the case of India, I have chosen Mumbai for a reason. Because I know my city better and I have studied my city more. So this is literally the latest, as you see, it is as on September 28, 2021, age and gender wise profile of COVID-19 positive patients. We are interested in the deaths figure. This is the total number of deaths as of now, 16,097. Like I have said, I assume the deaths are 2x. Now these are the deaths age wise. So you see 0 to 9, 19. 10 to 19, 41, 20 to 29, 178, 30 to 39, 566, 40 to 49, 1534, 50 to 59, 3401, 60 to 69, 4412, 70 to 79, 3788, 80 to 89, 1863, and 90 and above 270. So as you can see that from the age group of 0 to 19, as per the official BMC data, Mumbai has had 60 deaths. Now, we don't know what kind of complications these children had. So we can't even say what were the reasons. But I am sharing all the data possible from BMC. One good thing is BMC is very good at sharing data. So credit to them for that. And nothing else. बाकी खड्डे ही खड्डे हैं हमारी लाइफ में, रास्तों में चलाओ बॉम्बे के. Now here's the thing. Now you might say, oh my God, these children have died. So how can you say, schools kholo? Now here's my point. You have to look at it in a perspective. This was a report which was released on the 28th of June 2021. BMC on Monday said a pediatric sero survey conducted before the anticipated third wave has stated 51.18% of children between 1 to 18 years have developed antibodies against the deadly virus. The municipal body said the survey conducted by BIL Nair Hospital and Kasturba Molecular Diagnostic Laboratory had tested blood samples of 2,176 for the study between April 1st to June 12th. The key findings of the survey suggest that overall seropositivity is 51.18%, including 54.36 from the public sector and 47.03 from the private sector. The seropositivity is the highest in the age group of 10 to 14 at 53.43, the survey said. The seropositivity rate in children of 1 to 4 is 51, while it is 47.33 in the age group of 5 to 9 and 53.43 in 10 to 14 and 51.39 in 15 to 18. The overall seropositivity rate of 1 to 18 is 51.18, the survey report added. So here's the quote. We don't need to. The survey samples had collected 1,280 samples from Apli Chikitsa Network and Nair Hospital of BMC, and 893 were from a network of 2 private laboratories across 24 wards. As a possible third wave of COVID is anticipated to affect children disproportionately, the BMC had directed to conduct the sero survey of the pediatric population during the second wave itself. Now, somebody might come back and say, "Oh, this is only for the folks who are going to the pediatric population." Let me tell you, with full assurance, that this has been the trend across. Most people have gotten COVID. Even the children have gotten COVID. And considering the levels of infection that we see now, there was this latest sero survey of Mumbai. I forgot what was. Wait, let me point that out to you too. Forgot what was the number latest sero survey in Mumbai, and I think it was 86% or something. Yeah, how nice. So I'm going to share that with you too. I'm just trying to, give you guys a perspective. Policy making has to be based on some data. So, results of the fifth sero survey in Mumbai, which will be released in the next few days, suggest that the city may be close to herd immunity. Around 70 to 80% of those surveyed in the city's 24 civic wards in Mumbai had antibodies to COVID 19, said an official who didn't want to be named. However, sero surveys are not foolproof. A survey in Delhi had indicated 60% of the citizens. Well, the point is nobody is expecting foolproof. So even if it is out by 10 to 15%, it's a significant number. Again, my point is, I'll take you to the survey itself. Wait. This is an 18th September article. The latest survey, which covered 8,674 people, found a positivity of 87.2%, 87% in slums, 86% in non-slum areas. Holy shit. This is the first time that there is a meager difference in seropositivity of the slum and non-slum population in the Mumbai. Okay. The sero surveillance also included the vaccinated population. Now, here's the thing. The survey found seroprevalence amongst partially and fully vaccinated at 90%, and the people who have not taken a vaccine had almost 80% COVID antibodies. So even the unvaccinated have basically been infected. So there you go. And look, you may not like these facts, but these are facts. So again, I take you back to the deaths of the BMC data, right? I'll put it back on the screen. I've shown you the infection levels in Mumbai, and now I'm taking you back to the death numbers, which is 60. Now, I've always maintained that deaths in India are 2x. So maybe there are 120 deaths. I don't think so. It will be 120 because, again, we have to take in the percentage, because higher percentage of people are going to die. But let's take it as a flat rate and double again. I don't think so. We should lock down. Honestly, I don't think so. But I just think we are infected with safetyism. And in case you guys are wondering what safetyism is, so I'll give you the exact definition what Haidt used to say. Haidt says safetyism is a culture or a belief system in which safety, which includes emotional safety, has become a sacred value which means that people become unwilling to make trade-offs demanded by other practical and moral concerns. So that's what safetyism is. I believe by shutting schools down, by robbing our children of school access under the garb of COVID pandemic, I think we're ruining our children. We're ruining their lives. We are literally, literally ruining their careers. We are pushing them behind the curve. If you ask me, we are going to pay humongously for this if we don't do something about it. And I don't know what else to say. I've tried to share as much facts and data as possible as I could in a 30-minute monologue. Now it's up to you. You have to make your own decisions. You have to ask your politicians how much of safetyism is good. Do I believe people should get vaccinated? Yes. Do I believe if people should wear masks if they're, yes, I wear a mask too. Although I don't wear it as much as I used to before because I'm fully vaccinated. I just don't get the point of it, but still, I'll wear it if I'm in an ultra crowded place, for example. Do I believe COVID is going to become zero ever? No. We have to learn to live with COVID, and that's the bottom line. Is it like a flu? No. Is it like the bubonic plague? No. Maybe slightly more lethal than the flu for 18 and above. For kids, definitely it is not lethal. I just don't buy it. The data is not there. Parents who have been scared shitless about COVID. And this argument that, you will not get it if once. Look, children die of other reasons too. Maybe children die of a flu too, and flus are, the other flus are also infectious, right? Contagious, right? We don't shut schools down for them. Look, whether you like it or not, you have been scared to your bones with COVID. Look, if you are 60 and above, yes, you should take a vaccine, even booster doses as soon as you get. I'm going to take a booster dose. I'm a 40-year-old. But the point is, I want things to open up. I want life to go to normal. But I think under the garb of safetyism, we are destroying our lives. We are giving our rights away. We are literally, I don't know what else to say, ruining the future of India. We're not going to become a $10,000 to $15,000 economy with education levels and the quality that we have like this. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. And if you think I'm wrong, well, I don't know what to say. Let me put it to you. I think you guys are crazy. Anyways, it's 30 minutes now. I don't see any super chats. I will see if there are any interesting questions or queries. If not, I'm going to end the thing. If you have any questions, you can use the super chat. Otherwise, I'll just scan through the chat. If nothing is there, I'm going to shut the monologue. So, Ramesh, is there an AMA this month? Yes, tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, you'll have the AMA. Okay, there is one super chat by Aditya. The adults who drop off pick up kids that may be at risk. The older kids who can commute by themselves and vaccinated teachers should start attending. Oh, yaar, what is the risk if you are vaccinated? I don't get it. मतलब क्या होगा? क्या होगा? Baba, you are more at risk after getting vaccinated. You take a higher risk by driving to work daily. नंबर स्टडी कर लो रोड एक्सीडेंट सेफ्टी के और कोविड आफ्टर वैक्सीनेशन के. ये क्या हवा बना दिया है आप लोगों ने इसको. मतलब ये आई जेन्युइनली, आई मीन, मुझे विश्वास नहीं हो रहा आप लोग इतना डर रहे हो. आप वैक्सीन क्यों नहीं लेते हो? गेट फुली वैक्सीनेटेड. योर प्रोबेबिलिटीज ऑफ गेट और कोविड अगर हो भी गया तो क्या हो गया? आप फुली वैक्सीनेटेड हो. योर चांसेस ऑफ गेटिंग सीरियसली हॉस्पिटलाइज्ड और डाइंग ऑफ कोविड आर barely anything. ना के बराबर है। उससे ज्यादा रिस्क तो आप गाड़ी चला के लेते हो, रोज गाड़ी तो चलाते हो ना, तो वो रिस्क ज्यादा है। फिर आप गाड़ी चलाने के टाइम पर डरते नहीं हो, मगर आप अभी डर रहे हो। मेरे को तो कुछ समझ ही नहीं पड़ रहा है क्या हो रहा है। आई लिटरली डोंट गेट इट। Okay. You said we can't throw them into the sea. Why are we always happy that the Hindus are defending the conversation? Who's stopping Hindus from converting, Raviraj? I'm not stopping Hindus from converting. Hindus should equally convert people back into Hinduism. Who's stopping them? So this is such a loser's argument. I mean, हम नहीं कर रहे इसके लिए उनको नहीं करने देंगे. That's not the way to work. First time I'm speaking on this issue. Huh? I've been opposing lockdowns for the last 1 year. Do you follow me on Twitter? Good. Rakshita, please raise your voice because it is nothing less than horrific what is happening. Hmm, he's the असली मेहरा. Yes. देखो, असली मेहरा हूं मैं. Hmm. I don't even have children. Are parents not concerned about this? Parents are scared shitless and they have lost their rationality. That's all I can say. Covishield or Covaxin? Anyone. Whatever is available. You support free markets with minimum government. What do you think about tackling the climate crisis? I believe regulation, some responsible regulation when it comes to pollution levels and all that should be there. I never denied that. I don't see any other question. Mumbai is opening schools for the 8th to 12th now. I know. स्कूल का भी यार वो क्या क्या कमेंट्स थे, मतलब एएनआई का याद है, वो बच्चों को जाके इंटरव्यू कर रहे थे, मतलब ये बच्चे आंसर देंगे, क्या बेवकूफ. Why are we as a nation allergic to numbers and data? No, 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 no. This is not an Indian problem. This is a human problem. Human beings are allergic to numbers and data. Hmm. Hmm. and I write an article about this in a major newspaper, मेरे को कौन लिख कोट करेगा? मैंने तो आपको मेजर न्यूज़पेपर्स के आर्टिकल दिए. वन वाज इंडियन एक्सप्रेस, लाइव मिंट, टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया. कौन सुनता है? नोबडी लिसन्स बॉस, नोबडी लिसन्स. सो मेरे को कौन सुनेगा? My views on Kanhaiya and Jignesh Bhai joining Congress, very good for the nation. As a BJP supporter, I love it. Hmm. Work from home has ruined adults' mental health. Online classes have done that with kids. क्या हो रहा है? क्या हो रहा है? सामूहिक पागल हो रहे हैं लोग. ये हो रहा है. सारे के सारे उल्लू के पट्टे हो गए हैं. सब गधे हैं. एक नहीं, एक ढूंढने जाओगे तो सारे एक उल्लू के पागल में पड़े घर पे बैठ के. You can take the name. So many friends of mine I've been speaking to who have this work from home job. They're like, I want to go to office. My office doesn't open. What do I do? I was like, I don't know. Go to a coffee shop. That's what they're doing. A lot of people who want to go out go to a coffee shop and they just work from there now. What do you do? The people are nuts. They've gone mental. This whole COVID thing has driven people mental. I'm not, anti-vaxxer, 4chan guy. I actually support vaccinations. I think anti-vaxxers are dumbasses. But the point is, I still don't support lockdowns. I believe, look, open. It is time to open. But ठीक है, अभी क्या बोले? As AIM said about US teens when they're mostly going towards the left instead of right, is same being observed when Gen Z. Actually, Gen Z in America is going towards the right again. So you're wrong. Latest studies are showing Gen Z is going towards the right wing again. So I don't know what you're talking about. How to make our politicians afraid of us instead of merely treating us as vote banks? Well, you actually, there is no option. You have to become a vote bank, a policy vote bank. You have to convince people on your policy position, and then you have to start voting on those patterns. And it works better at a municipal level. Then from the municipal, you take it to the MLA, and from the MLA, you take it to the MP level. बच्चे खेलने जाते हैं तब चलता है, पर स्कूल में खतरा है ना. So वो नहीं है. So there is a policy in Mumbai that everybody can go in a bus, vaccinated, unvaccinated. ट्रेन में नहीं जाने दूंगा. क्या हो रहा है किसी को नहीं मालूम. 10:30 तक रेस्टोरेंट में जा सकते हो, तब कोरोना नहीं होता. सडनली 10:30 के बाद कोरोना आ जाता है तुम्हारे रेस्टोरेंट में. Nothing makes sense. This policy making is not based on data or science. This policy making is based on the assumption that we have to signal to people who politicians think are a bunch of morons that we are doing something. That is what the intention is. मैंने घर पे 7,000 खर्चा करके टेबल चेयर मंगवाया, अब कॉलेज खुल गए, पैसा बर्बाद. What are my views on defamation laws? Civil defamation, because that involves personal character assassination. I think civil defamation is fair. Criminal defamation, as it extends in India, is just ridiculous. I think it has no space in civilized society. Was COVID a litmus test for us as a species? I don't know. इतना मैं नहीं सोचता. That is true. How many times have I said this? Governments can let us die from everything except COVID. ये मैंने एक पॉडकास्ट में भी बोला था. हर डिजीज से मरने दूंगा, कोविड से नहीं मरने दूंगा तुझे. हाउ डेयर यू डाई फ्रॉम कोविड. ये हाल है इस समय. What vaccine have you taken? I took Covishield, whatever was available at that time. Do you think there will ever be a libertarian Indian government? No. All right. I think there is no super chat. Let me check. Nope. Nothing over here either on the UPI end. I think there's nothing to discuss then. We can wrap it up. Let me check again. Yeah, I think we can wrap it up. So, guys, good. We can wrap up today's session faster. I'm happy. I get to wrap it up in 1 hour. Usually, otherwise, it goes on for a longer time. So, all right. I guess, let me see. Did I miss out any? Nope. I think I did not. Okay, guys, we will wrap today's session up. I think nobody has any questions. So, I am more than happy wrapping it up. So, as always, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, become a member on YouTube, subscribe on Patreon, buy the merch, or send your donations on UPI. And if you are someone who has friends who are, into this whole psychotic business of fear mongering all the time about COVID, just share this video with them, the first 37-40 minutes. Show them the entire data and ask them, does your fear make any sense? Is your fear warranted? And is it correct that we actually actively destroy, the government of India actively destroys the life of our children on multiple layers, on multiple levels? You should ask this question. You should have this discussion. Especially if you're a young kid, you are screwed. You're screwed beyond repair. And um, you know what? I know it's not a popular thing, but you will see the effects of this in the next 10 years. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, take care. Bye bye.